It was supposed to be just another Saturday ride for the Steel Wolves, a group of tough-looking bikers with roaring engines, black jackets, and mirrored helmets that made people stare wherever they went. The sun had barely risen when they stopped near an old gas station on the outskirts of town. The wind carried the smell of fuel, rust, and hot asphalt. But none of them were prepared for what was about to happen, for the small, trembling voice that would silence even their loudest engines. "Sir, please, buy my bike. Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days." The words came from a little girl, no older than 8, holding the handlebar of a broken, pink bicycle missing one pedal. Her face was pale, her lips dry, and her eyes, those big, brown eyes, looked like they had cried 100 times already. The bikers froze. The leader, Marcus, a man known for his rough exterior and thunderous laugh, felt something tighten inside his chest. He had seen many things in his life, fights, betrayals, heartbreak, but never a child begging to sell her only toy so her mother could eat. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of good hearts, take a moment right now, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Let's spread stories that remind the world that compassion still exists. The Steel Wolves stood there in awkward silence, the kind of silence that reveals the weight of what you're seeing. The girl's dress was torn at the hem, her small hands smudged with dirt. She looked scared but determined, clutching the handlebars as if letting go would mean giving up hope. Marcus knelt beside her and asked softly, "Where's your mom, sweetheart?" Her voice trembled as she pointed toward a half-collapsed house behind the gas station. "She's inside, sir. She doesn't want me to ask people for help, but she hasn't eaten in 2 days. I thought maybe if I sell my bike, I can buy her food." Marcus felt his throat tighten. His crew, men who looked like they feared nothing, stood frozen. Jake, the youngest of the group, quietly wiped at his eyes, pretending dust had gotten into them. They followed the little girl to the house, their boots crunching on gravel. Inside, it was dark and cold. A woman lay on a mattress with no sheets, her cheeks hollow, her skin pale. There was no furniture, just empty bottles of water and a single candle on the floor. Her name was Elena. Once, she had been a nurse, a mother with dreams of giving her daughter, Lily, a good life. But after her husband's sudden death in a construction accident, everything crumbled. The company refused to pay his due wages, and soon debt collectors came knocking. One night, they took everything, her furniture, her car, even her husband's old tools. The next day, she was left with nothing but her little girl and a half-broken bicycle. The bikers stood there, feeling something shift deep inside them. They weren't just looking at poverty, they were looking at broken promises, at the cruelty of a world that forgets the innocent. Marcus whispered something to Jake, and the group quietly left the house. A few minutes later, the roar of motorcycle engines echoed across the quiet street. But they didn't ride away. They rode for her. Hours passed, and just when the sun began to set, Lily heard the sound of engines again. She ran outside, expecting maybe the police or some strangers, but there they were, the same men from earlier. Only this time, their arms were full. Bags of groceries, a new mattress, blankets, toys, medicine, and in the middle of it all, Marcus wheeling a brand new pink bicycle with a ribbon tied to its handle. Elena burst into tears. She tried to speak, to thank them, but her voice broke. Marcus knelt down beside her, his eyes wet. "You don't owe us anything, ma'am. We just wanted to do what's right." He handed her an envelope filled with cash, collected from the bikers' own pockets. "This will cover rent and food for a while. We'll make sure those people who did this to you don't hurt anyone else again." And they meant it. Over the next week, the Steel Wolves dug into the past, calling in favors, talking to lawyers, even confronting the shady contractor who had cheated Elena's husband. Turns out, the man had scammed multiple workers and falsified safety records. Within days, the truth came out. The company was exposed, forced to compensate the families it had wronged, including Elena's. When Marcus and his crew visited again a month later, they found the same little house, but it looked alive. The walls were repainted, flowers bloomed by the window, and laughter echoed inside. Elena had regained her job at a local clinic, and Lily was back in school, riding her new pink bicycle every morning with a smile that could melt any heart. But what truly changed that day wasn't just Elena's fate, it was the hearts of the men who helped her. The Steel Wolves had always been seen as rough, reckless bikers, but that night, as they rode back under the stars, they realized something profound. Sometimes the loudest engines carry the kindest souls. Sometimes, the people society fears are the ones who still believe in goodness when others have forgotten it. Marcus later told his crew, "We can't save everyone, but for that little girl, for her mother, we were the miracle they prayed for. That's enough." And that moment, that ride, became their legend. Every year after that, the Steel Wolves rode through the city once more, not to show off, but to help. They donated food, paid off hospital bills, repaired old homes. And wherever they went, people would whisper, "Those are the bikers who helped the little girl who tried to sell her bike so her mommy could eat." As Lily grew older, she never forgot them. When she graduated years later, she became a social worker, dedicating her life to helping struggling families, because once, strangers with loud engines and big hearts saved her world. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Let's remind the world that compassion isn't weakness, it's the strongest force we have. Speech balloon special request, comment below. Kindness still lives in this world, if you believe small acts can create miracles.